Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I am the Crypto Crow. We are live. It is about 3:27 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I've got a whole bunch of stuff to go over today. I'm going to leave you this weekend with all kinds of stuff to think about. We're going to look at Cardano's price, a bit of a Cardano price prediction, if you will. For those that don't follow me on the regular basis, maybe it'll be something that's new to you. We're going to go over some of the latest news going on with the power outage and just a complete system meltdown all over the place. And it's very interesting. I'm going to look into that live with you guys. I'm going to make a Houdini swap live with you guys because I tested it already and it worked well. And I was actually surprised because the way it works is actually pretty interesting. And there's a bunch of stuff that's happening around HoudiniSwap, and there's a lot of new partners coming. So it's kind of helping me trust it more and more, and using it myself now today. It's pretty easy. And it was pretty slick at the same time because I traded one token for another, and they were completely separate chains, and it was pretty flawless. And I didn't even have to log in or connect my wallet to do it. So, yeah. But I am going to be buying some more ICP today. Those of you that follow my channel watched me pick some up. Well, actually, no, I didn't do it live, but I picked it up about $6.66. As a matter of fact, let me double check on that. Well, now my average entry is 680 because of the test I did. I bought a little bit more, and I wanted to see, like, how does HoudiniSwap work for that? And it worked really well. So I'm going to buy more. I'm probably going to buy like an Ethereum and a half more. And I'm going to do it live right here on HoudiniSwap. So I'll show that to you guys so you can see how to actually use it. And yeah, I want to first start by saying thank you because those of you who have been buying my Cardano merch and my shirts and things, thank you. Like, seriously, because, I haven't sold a million of them, but I've probably sold like 10 or 12 different shirts so far. And it's such a, like, I don't know, it's such a good feeling to know that you guys dig what I'm doing. And I'm actually working on some all over print shirts that I think you guys will get a kick out of. Also, thank you to everybody on my locals, because I'm really starting to there's more and more coming. My goal is to get 1,500 members to my locals account, and I'll actually post the link right here. I'm just getting this stuff out of the way while people are coming in and being notified and things. So don't worry, the meat is coming. It's not just a big shill video. But anyway, this post right here should definitely be of value to people, especially people that are new. And if you have questions, just ask. The best way to get my direct attention is to be a supporter in my locals and post your question. And that once enough get accumulated, I'm going to do a full article answer where I answer everything. Just stuff that, it's difficult across all the different mediums between Twitter and Telegram and Discord and just everything I've got. I don't pay attention to a lot of it. I can't. But if somebody's becoming a supporter of mine and they have a question, then I definitely see those, because I go in and I refresh and I check things out several times a day. So if you're trying to get my attention about something, that's the best way to do it. This is RiskWise Pro, and this is basically a new website. It has not officially launched yet, but it's coming. And I think they have another couple of weeks before it's 100% ready. And but this is going to be really cool. And if you notice at the top here, you see something that says Crow Score. And ultimately, what is being worked on is we want to have a column on this web platform where every project that has a Crow Score is going to have it proudly displayed right here. Well, hopefully proudly if it's a good score. But we're working on this as well, because the Crow Scores are going to be a big deal. And I think we're going to be doing these potentially in 3 different tiers. They're going to get more extensive each step of the way. The first tier is probably going to be a free, like a Crow Score mini, because I already have hundreds of these. And I did a video recently where I showed how my metrics from a lot of these projects from back in as far as 2023, and how the price action has fared in those projects since those reviews, and I ranked them out, and it's been pretty accurate. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I think my system is pretty solid. And if you're interested, you could just join. If you join the locals, you get a free access to the whole thing. But I'm updating it with different data and things as I'm calculating through stuff. So, but yeah, and then we'll probably have like the Crow Score Mini, which is something that we're doing. We're probably going to do, and then you're going to have the regular Crow Score, which is where we dive into other things in a little more detail, like the white papers, the team members, a little bit of their backgrounds and things like that. It's like another level above just the Crow Score Mini. And then of course you've got the ultimate for any projects out there that are screaming from the rooftop saying, trust us. And then we say, okay, open yourselves up. We're going to dive deep into everything about you, your project, your programmers, your code, everything. So they're going to be probably 3 levels to that. But Riskwise is going to be like our first big partner. I know ViFi.io has expressed interest in being a part of that to some degree. So I'll keep you guys posted. Let's go ahead and go into some of the news real quick. And then I'm going to play, I don't know how many of you have seen the trailer for Wargrim. I just finished that recently. And boy, I look really fleshed out, don't I? This light just makes me look like a ghost. So it's like almost creepy looking at myself with so much light on me. I've got 3 different lights just blasting me. I don't think I need that much. But anyway, a pundit predicts 100% surge for Cardano as ADA price train leaves the station. Now, this is from today. However, it said that the price was like 52 cents, but it's not. At press time, ADA was retesting the critical 52-cent support level, which it successfully breached on July 13th, indicating a possible upward bounce. Analysts are closely monitoring ADA's movements, yada, yada. So they're basically projecting. It's funny because this article is almost saying exactly what I've already projected. And I see a lot of this stuff. Listen, folks, I know that my videos don't get 30,000 views in an hour like so many of these guys do. But if you watch me on any regular basis, you'll realize there's a big reason for me and a lot of you guys jokingly saying I'm always right sometimes. I put so much work and time into doing things and that I share with you guys freely. And, I feel like in most cases, I'm one of the first. And I would not be surprised if there were more YouTubers that watch my channel than you guys. And I can see who some of them are. And I know, I'm not saying that this person watched my channel and then wrote this article. That's not what I'm saying. But I know how many YouTubers watched my channel before they got onto YouTube. And I can't help but feel like some of these folks watch my channel and then put their own spin on what I'm telling you. And that's not an ego boost. It's just something I see all the time. And so, which is cool. I mean, it's cool because I feel like if a lot of people are watching what I'm doing and they do their own work and they're like, you know what, Crow might be onto something, I'm going to cover this, then more power to them. It's all good. Last time when ADA crossed a 50 daily moving average, ADA went up 50% in about 2 weeks. It is highly likely we will see the same again. Here's the other side of this Cardano news. Like, I agree with all of this, but it's also funny how the price and these narratives start popping up every time there are big updates coming for Cardano. It's almost like a no-brainer, and it makes everybody look like they're psychic, right? But one of the things that I've been working on lately is I'm really trying to calculate nuances of Cardano's price as it relates to inception, the 2017 bull market, the 2021 bull market, and where we're at now in relation to it. Because there are more ADA in circulating supply than there was in the last market cycle. Okay, I think it's like 3.5 billion more. All right. So there's more tokens, but there's also more demand. There are more whales. There are more nodes. There are more pledges staked to those nodes or pledged to those nodes. and there's more ADA stake to those nodes. So everything in the entire ecosystem has grown and expanded. And I'm always trying to figure out and make sense of, well, why is this the way it is? Why is the price action the way it is today compared to like 2 weeks ago? Why is it different today compared to a year ago or 2 years ago? What are the similarities and what are the percentages of differences? I'm always trying to calculate that stuff. I'm trying to work on a really big video. As a matter of fact, I just connected with the founder of pooltool.io, which is a resource I love. And I'm chatting with him, and he's like, he's going to hook me up with some cool data that I asked him for. I asked in a Cardano group he's a member in, and he reached out to me, and he's like, yo, I can hook you up with this. I'm like, oh, you're the founder of Pool Tool? I'm like, good on you, dude. Like, that's awesome. So yeah, I'm getting some help. So expect a big video probably next week where I'm going to be covering a lot of this stuff. But this individual expects to see somewhere around an 80 cent Cardano by well, in the not so distant future. Let me see here. It's important also to note that ahead of its previous hard fork in 2021, ADA surged 130%, skyrocketing from $1.35 to $3.10 in just a month. We see these price pumps regularly in the Cardano ecosystem. I've seen Cardano pump as much as 600% higher than Ethereum, like 3 times in the last cycle. Okay, so I see a lot of like YouTubers, especially Solana holders. I don't know what it is. I get so burnt out on it, honestly, but then I get so pissed because I see something else and it triggers me. And I'll see like a YouTuber that I know is like kind of a degenerate who I know loves Solana, and then he'll make a slighted comment against Cardano, and I'm like, damn, you're such a nasty piece of shit. Like, some of these people put up fronts like they're all just happy hunky-dory and they're all just nerdy and cool and sweet, but they're terrible human beings. But it's whatever. I mean, I'm sure I could tell just based off of some of the things they do and say, their entire life narrative. I mean, it's just like, I'm sure it's that obvious. But anyway, it's whatever. I see some of this stuff and I'm like, God damn, you Solana holders are terrible. But whatever. To each their own. Insider explains Trump's possible Bitcoin reserve plan after leaking it. Now, this is interesting. Yeah, I'm here to make money too. I get it. We're all here to make money, but I feel like there's a right and a wrong way of going about making money. I feel like I try to do everything I can to help lead people in the right direction. I try to do what I can with what I know to help people as best I can. Doesn't always work out 100%. Nothing's ever guaranteed. Everything is just the way it is, and it's all dictated by the nuances of the market. But I feel like, like if a YouTuber, for example, if a YouTuber is basically getting like an early seed round allocation for a crypto project. And I just did a big tweet chain about this. Like, there are YouTubers who they'll go and we get them all the time. We get companies and they say, hey, we'll give you a seed round allocation if you agree to promote us, right? So basically, what does that mean? That means I'm buying the token at seed round pricing with like hard built-in pricing price increases. Hold on. Sorry. With hard built-in price increases by the time it hits the retail market. What do we see during those times? You see a seed round project, you see it, market itself and do a bunch of stuff. Then it goes public launch, and then the price tanks a bit. Why does that happen? Well, because you become the exit liquidity for the YouTubers and the people that got involved at seed round. They're already getting like a 5 to 10 to even higher X return just by selling when it goes public, if there's not a vestment. Some more legitimate projects, they make you vest your tokens for like 6 months, a year and a half, 2 years, right? So that you can't dump the token on the market. But the ones that don't, those are the ones that typically attract a lot of the scammier YouTubers who will basically and then they'll say, well, I wasn't paid for this, so they don't disclose the nature of the relationship. But in reality, and they think, well, I bought these tokens. I'm an investor. I disclosed that I'm an investor, but really they were allowed to buy them at seed round in exchange for promoting it and creating their own exit liquidity by talking about the project while they're dumping on their heads. It's a disgusting tactic, and it's something that I think more YouTubers do than don't. I could be wrong about that, but I know there are quite a handful of those that do that. That's the kind of shit I think is terrible. And I don't know how some of these people still have followings, to be honest with you, because they do this over and over and over to their viewers, and it's kind of gross. But anyway, I don't know. People love Solana too. I mean, it's like some people are a glutton for punishment as long as they think they're being fed at the same time. Dennis Porter, CEO and co-founder of Satoshi Act Fund, set the Bitcoin and financial community abuzz yesterday, July 18th, with an alleged leak via X. Porter announced what could be massive news for Bitcoin. Huge breaking. Trump to announce a USA Bitcoin strategic reserve in Nashville. There's a lot of stuff happening in Nashville, and okay. So yeah, so this is because the Nashville's the convention, but there's other stuff going on. The annual Bitcoin conference is taking place next week in Nashville from July 25th to the 27th. While details remain scarce and the source anonymous, of course, this statement has sparked intense discussion within the crypto community and beyond. Notably, the market has shown restraint, maintaining a cautious stance amid the unfolding news. How Trump could make a Bitcoin reserve asset. Today, Porter doubled down on his initial claim, providing a more detailed vision of how President Trump can feasibly integrate Bitcoin into the U.S. strategic reserves. Now, why do I think there's actually some potential truth to this? Because I also saw another report saying that Trump is potentially looking to bring in J.P. Morgan, Jamie Dimon of J.P. Morgan, and put him in charge of some big financial stuff, which I find really interesting, considering they obviously have their own investment vehicles and all sorts of things. And a part of me wonders how much of it could be a trade-off. Like, what happens to, and this is just me asking questions. I'm not being a smart ass and I'm not trying to be political, but what happens to like the situation in Ukraine if Trump gets reelected and basically does what he does and creates peace over there, and Putin and Russia calm down and the Ukraine can start to rebuild, and there's like peace in the Middle East, so to speak, right? What happens with BlackRock and JP Morgan, who are already tapped to rebuild over there? Does that somehow change the dynamic of that relationship because that was under the Biden administration, or does it remain and they go over there and that, because it was like a $430 million or $1 billion, I don't know what it was a hell of a lot of money, where they were already contracted to go repair and build back better over there, right? So we'll see what happens. But I'm thinking with BlackRock and JP Morgan now also in the Bitcoin business, well, it makes sense now. If they say, you know what, you're probably going to win. We've had all these relationships put in place with the other guy, but we're going to do something else with you. And this is what we're going to do. Let's make Bitcoin a reserve asset. Let's figure out a way to make this do that. We're all going to do really well. I mean, that's my take on it. He emphasized adding Bitcoin as a strategic reserve would be a decisive win for America and for Bitcoin, but some wonder, how can it be done? He then suggested a method that would use an existing financial mechanism to achieve this. The mechanism in question is the Exchange Stabilization Fund, a financial tool managed by the US Treasury. That was it. Oh my God, that's what I'm talking about. I've been seeing stuff about him, Jamie Dimon, basically maintaining the US Treasury. This is all making sense. I haven't even read this whole article. This is all just clicking as I'm reading this. It's kind of insane. Established by the Gold Reserve Act of 1934, the ESF's primary function has been to stabilize the value of the US dollar by intervening in foreign exchange and gold markets. Porter's proposal involves a novel extension of this mandate to include Bitcoin, which is considered in the financial world as a foreign currency due to its decentralized nature and global usage. Hey, you can throw Cardano in that mix. Porter outlined the process through which Bitcoin could be integrated into the ESF. He suggested that Bitcoin could be held as part of the ESF's reserve assets, akin to its holdings of foreign currencies and gold. This would not only diversify the ESF's assets, but also provide a strategic hedge against inflation and currency devaluation. I think there's a hell of a lot more truth than this than we think. In terms of operational strategy, the ESF could engage in Bitcoin transactions to stabilize or influence its exchange rate, particularly in relation to the US dollar. Folks, this is a transition. This is a transition, because if this were to happen, I believe this would honestly, whether we want it or not, this would honestly, in some way, shape, or form, also bring us closer to a CBDC, especially if Bitcoin it becomes some sort of reserve. And we may not like that, but I think this is heading in that direction, because the dollar is the days of the dollar are limited. I mean, I truly believe that the days of the US dollar are and not just the dollar, but we're seeing a concerted effort across multiple countries doing the same shit. They're all suffering under the same policies. They're all suffering under the same stuff that's creating all this inflation and all these problems, debasing and devaluing their own fiat currency. It's not just the US, and which is also part of the funny narrative when a lot of the spokespeople for the current administration talk about how, well, we're doing so much better than these other countries. Yeah, but we also started significantly higher as well. But if we're all dropping at the same rate, yeah, of course, we're going to remain doing better, but ultimately it's a part of the same overall agenda, and we're all playing our role in it. So, it's interesting, but I think that there's some truth to this, and I could actually see this happening. So because I know it's going to take a few minutes, I'm going to do this Houdini swap. Let me find it. Here it is. I'm going to do another one, because this is the conclusion of the one I just did earlier. And I'm going to do a Houdini swap, and I'm going to pick up some more ICP, because I wanted to do this to show you guys how this works. I've got everything ready so I can confirm that it went through and all that. And this isn't paid. They haven't paid me to do this. I kind of want to work out like a long-term partnership with them if I can, because I think this is actually going to be pretty interesting. And I know that there's a lot of stuff coming, but I want to show you how to do this. So basically, you don't even have to log in with your wallet to pull this off. So let's say, let me see, what do I have? Okay. All right. So we'll do 1.5. So I'm gonna do 1.5 Ethereum, and I'm gonna pick up some ICP. And you can plug in almost any token in here. Okay. So internet computer, let me see what it'll get me. And I'm going to start this now and come back to it in a little while, because it takes up to 15 minutes. Okay. So I need to plug in my ICP wallet. And yeah. So you plug in your ICP wallet. All right. Now I'm looking for the best route. And then it'll say open deposit page. So because I'm not connected, my wallet isn't connected, it's not saying, okay, we'll just click accept, right? For people that don't want to be forced to do that for any reason, this to me is like a cool trust thing. It's like, you know what? You can do this without it. But so I'm going to open the deposit order, and it's going to create the order. And then it's going to present an address to me. And it's going to say, okay, send your 1.5 Ethereum to this address. So I'm going to do that. And bingo, bango, 1.5. And it's estimating the fees, which aren't really terrible right now. So that's good. All right. So it's submitting my transaction. You can't see that, but it's submitting my transaction right now. And then once the transaction's confirmed, then I'm going to go ahead and click this, which says already sent your funds. So then it starts to look for it, right? And basically what's going to happen is it's going to take my Ethereum, it's going to send it out through the networks, and it's going to swap it for ICP, and then it's going to send it to the address I told it to send it to. and that's it. And then you'll get like, you'll be able to verify it and do other things. There's a lot of tools with this. Now, the other side of this is not private. I didn't do this as a private swap. You can do it as a private swap using Monero. Oh, sorry for the wait. If your transaction is not finalized within 149, it's counting down. Interesting. So I didn't have this before, but it's basically, it's going to take a little bit. Come on, Ethereum, get your act together. So anyway, but once the transaction is active, then I'm going to go back to everything else I was doing, and then we'll check it. Okay, now it's complete. All right. So I'm going to click this, and then here it's going to process everything, and I'm going to see. It takes about 15 minutes. All right. Because it's not as simple as just doing an on-chain swap for a token on the same chain. This is going out to multiple chains, finding the token, making the transfer. And it's basically about 1.5%, I think, is in terms of fee. So basically, if it says you're going to get this number of tokens, it's about 1.5% less. Okay. So the funds are this will confirm when the funds have been received, converting, completing order. So we can watch that a little bit. All right, so they have the funds that all went through. Now they're working on conversion. So this whole process here will take probably about 15 minutes. So I'll come back to that in a little while and show you guys what's happening. Also, Validity, for those of you that are interested in Validity, it's currently trading at almost 80 cents again. So this has been doing pretty well. I'm not logged in directly with my wallet. I'm sure my yield's probably doing pretty good. I'll touch base on that a little later. Let me see. Now, this is big, because I have not seen anything. I've not been affected by it. But, you know, some of the crazy people out there in the world, like Alex Jones, have been predicting that this is coming for a while now. And I find this really interesting, because a lot of folks are trying to say that this is all just another part of what they're trying to do to interrupt everything as we know it. And, you know, I don't know. Okay. I'm not even going to get into all of that. I'm so burnt out on all of it. I just wish it would just be done and over with at some point. But a defective software update from cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike has triggered widespread disruptions across multiple industries worldwide. So what's happening? The new update caused thousands of Windows-based IT systems to crash, displaying the blue screen of death and rendering systems unable to reboot. Mac and Linux systems were unaffected. Good old Windows for you. That's why I've been working more on Macs. And at some point, I'm only going to work on Mac and Linux machines. I still have my PC, but I don't want it. And the only reason I still have it is because of all the software that I have. But that's going to change soon. I'm so done with Windows. I'm done with Bill Gates. I'm done with all of it, man. It's like, if you want to get out of the matrix, you have to like take the first step. So I'm just relearning Apple and how that works, and using command lines and stuff again. It's not always the most fun, but it's pretty clean. The outages grounded flights, delayed trains, disrupted banks, affected healthcare services, and beyond. More than 2,000 flights were canceled, and more than 5,000 delayed in the US alone, which sucks. That sucks so bad. If you're trying to get somewhere, and this thing basically shut down all the airports and outgoing inbound flights, everything else, that's terrible. Even the London Stock Exchange reported technical issues in the wake of the update, as CrowdStrike's stock prices dropped over 11% on the day. CrowdStrike CEO George Kurtz confirmed that the issue was due to a bad update and not a cyber attack. A fix has been deployed, but the restoration of services will take time. What I also saw is Elon Musk posted today and said, we have taken CrowdStrike out of all of our systems. I think Elon thinks there's more to it than that. I don't necessarily think that's just a coincidence. I don't either. It could be. I wish my liberal friend George still talked to me, but he doesn't talk to me anymore. I think things are not going as well as he had hoped for himself. And, you know, with him not ever able to say much outside of a like Orange Man Bad meme, but he's like, he is a genius when it comes to security, cybersecurity, programming, all that stuff. I wish we could have. I kind of miss my liberal friend George, honestly, but like I wish we could have just been like, you know what, let's just agree to disagree and focus on, more fun shit. Like, it's obvious you're insane, but let's just go ahead and forget about all that and focus on things we actually have in common. But I would love to have asked him about this CrowdStrike business, because he would probably have some inside scoop. The massive infrastructure outages occurring globally right now are a stark example about why Bitcoin node software does not automatically update. Auto updates introduce systemic risk. Yeah, that's very true. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this like a little accidental update, or do you think this is like a pretest for something bigger coming in the future? Because that's a lot. I'm seeing a lot of that kind of business. Taking a look at the 26% now. This is up like 6% over, I think yesterday we were like 20%. So we're growing, we're getting there. We need 70% of the Cardano nodes to be on 9.0 to get this full Chang hard fork in order. It's the 19th. Ooh, 5% a day, roughly. That's not going to cut it. I don't know. I need to calculate that out. Let me see. 5% average a day. 5 times. Oh, wait. So let's just call it 15. Takes us to, oh yeah. Well, if we were to continue going up by 5% a day, which this should grow exponentially, I would think. So we'll probably get the Chang hard fork by the end of this month. I was thinking it was going to end up being pushed into August, but that's cool because that'll give everything time to update. We're also waiting for the exchanges and everybody to change. So we'll see. But yeah, I guess we'll probably get the Chang hard fork this month. Now, looking at Bitcoin's price, it's looking pretty good, folks. It's looking good. 67,250. We're climbing. Remember, I drew this out. When did I draw this out? Has it been like 2 weeks? No, what is this? This is a 2 day. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Yep. I drew all of this out 2 weeks ago. Am I always right sometimes, or am I always right sometimes there, fellas? This was the spring. We bottomed. It's going up. We're probably going to get a pullback somewhere around here in the 68,000 range. I'm actually looking at this, though. I'm going to tell you, I really love Market Cipher, and I use Market Cipher as well. But I've really started working a lot with Lux Algo. The Lux Algo indicator, and this one tool alone in the whole indicator is. So I don't know how many of you were watching me go head to head against Crypto Face in our trade wars yesterday, where I whooped his ass. It's funny. Listen, when you're in a trade wars for an hour and a half with a guy that does multi-million dollars to trades at 2 a.m, it's nothing. It's actually fun. It's fun to get the win, but I do love Crypto Face. Don't get me wrong. He's my dude. He's funny as hell. But this is one of the things I was referencing in my trades, where I caught the top and shorted. He went long, and I'm like, ooh, and then I just kept riding that all the way down, and then he ended up losing thousands, and I was up a few $100. So I ended up winning the whole thing. And it was a good time. But this is what I was looking at. This is an element of the Lux Algo Trader, which basically throws the liquidity blocks up on the chart, so you can see if there are more buy orders or sell orders at a particular price point. This is sick. I don't know if there are other indicators out, and this isn't a commercial. I'm not selling it. I'm just pointing it out. They did give me free premium account a while back, and I started messing with it a little bit, but then I got busy, and then I stopped, and then I haven't touched on it in a while. And then I started going back to it, and I'm like, oh, I wonder what this does. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, this is some power, because what happens is, you can see here, there's a lot of buy orders up here. And it almost saying, if we get up here, then the bulls are more powerful than the bears. So once we get to this point, this right here could potentially touch up here, and then we'll see how this changes as we get closer, because what generally happens, let's say this was red all the way out here. Well, then what I would expect to see is that once we start touching into this area, that we need to chew up some of these bears. And once we get rid of some of the bears in those order books, which is when we would typically bounce down a bit before we work our way back up, I would expect to see the amount of bears bigger. But we're not. We're seeing the bulls are more in control at the $70,000 level. So, man, I don't know. I don't know what exactly is going to happen here. I think the trajectory laid out. I mean, look at this. I mean, even this was this channel. I can't remember if this channel was here when I drew this, or if it just. Okay, that was a manual channel. So yeah, that was probably already there. And then I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But anyway, this is playing out beautifully. I mean, it really is. So just looking at all of the price activity, I'm like, man, this looks really good. There's about 417 million, give or take, probably 100 million, sitting down here at around 62,000. 780 thereabout in this window. It's actually supposed to be like 62 220 or 21 or 2100. So, but we're past that, and we did wick all the way up here around 67,005 or thereabouts, and we got a little bit of a pullback, but we're still moving up. This is a 2-day candle. These are 2-day charts right here, and on this exchange, it's pretty level headed. Let me see. Was this yeah, that's a 2-day as well, but it's showing differently. So these are probably two different exchanges. So I guess we're going to have to wait and see how that all plays out. But you can see the liquidity and how things change as you come down. It's just very interesting. Because the further down you go on a 2-day candle, oh wait, this is a 2-minute. Sorry, this is 2-minute. Like, no, I'm like, why is that? What happened? Yeah, on a 2-minute, this doesn't really mean a whole hell of a lot for the long term of things. But we did get a red X on this. This is actually what I was using to trade against crypto face. So for the short term. So this, I mean, you know, the bears are in control here, but then you come back down here to like the 66.5 area. So this could come through because bears are in control. It could drop even further throughout the afternoon, bounce off of this because you see that it's green. So it's a lot more green than it is red. So some of those orders are going to get chewed up, and then we could potentially get a bounce and then start moving further. So it'll be interesting to see what happens over the course of this weekend. This is Cardano's chart, which, you know, Cardano seems to be doing pretty decent, and I'm doing a lot of different stuff. I will have a pretty good video next week with some really strong information related to Cardano. So be ready for that. It's coming. I'm working on it. I'm going to try and take a break from this weekend because I swear, folks, I've been grinding from the moment I wake up. I spend about a half an hour to an hour with some coffee, just opening my eyes, and then I'm in my seat in my office until like 2. Generally, well, I can't say till 2, but about 12 o'clock or so, midnight. And then I'm so busy. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but I enjoy what I'm doing, but I am definitely very, very busy. So this is a look at ICP right now. Let me take a look at my HoudiniSwap. Okay, it's still working on completing the order because I'm guessing it's probably going to take a few extra minutes because it's a little bigger than the one that I did earlier. So I'm waiting on that. So anyway, I get a little nervous. I get nervous when I'm waiting on stuff. You know, when you send 1.5 Ethereum to a protocol and you're like, oh, it's not instant. That's one of my biggest faux pas, my biggest things about DeFi apps and all of that. But ICP is still moving up, and it's been doing pretty well. We did bounce down here. I guess we ate up some of the. I'm assuming that when the candles were down here, I'm assuming that the green would probably look like that, but we chewed up a lot of that green liquidity. And I'm telling you, that indicator is money, man. I mean, like that's pretty real. That's pretty slick. And I still do have it on my to-do list. I want to build a website using ICP canisters because I'm gonna invest more and more as I can into ICP, because I mean I have a pretty good idea as to what's going on with it, and I'm definitely digging it. I like ICP, and I think it's got a lot of legs. I think it's got a lot of potential. All right, looking at this liquidity heat map on a 3-day, you can see we've got some volume building down here, but it's like 110 million. I mean, that's a really concentrated yellow for only $110 million. I mean, that's just not that much. It's not really worth moving the entire market all the way down there. But you know, it's interesting. Let's see what we look like on a month, where things are on a monthly. Takes a few minutes. We chewed all the way through all of this. So all these guys got liquidated and the price is already up here and everything is just thin, high or low. It's indecision. You know what I mean? And if I were to hazard a guess, I'm going to hope and I'm going to say, given everything that's going on in the market right now, this indecision and lack of liquidity for the most part, I'm going to have to say that the price just has to jump higher, because there's just not as much resistance now. It's all been chewed up. Everybody's just been eaten alive. And now it's time for us to raise up to a new all-time high, which I ultimately do believe is going to happen in August. I really do. I think we're going to really break the hell out. And yeah, that's all a bunch of older stuff. Let's see. Oh, just to also let you guys know what I'm working on right now. This is Gunbot. So for those of you that are really, I would love to know in the comments below how many of you are actively interested in bot trading again, because I absolutely love it. And I'm thinking about doing a kind of a head-to-head battle on Gunbot and Profit Trailer. And the thing of it is it sucks for me because like Profit Trailer, I'm not sure what's going on with them. They were like my bread and butter for so long. And I absolutely love the bot. I love the interface. I love the data. I love how it works, configuring it, all of that stuff. I used to love giving out my Profit Trailer settings and things. And I did really well. I mean, in a bull market, Profit Trailer tears. I mean, it really does well. But I also think, you know, Crow Trader probably will tear too in a bull market cycle. Crow Trader is by far the easiest bot to use, but like I've said, it's difficult to keep up with some of the API changes where they just throw these API changes out and then we get a bug and then you have to go back and redevelop some shit. And it's like not enough people were buying Crow Trailer to justify the expense of everything that it takes to maintain it. I'm just being honest. But Profit Trailer and a lot of these bots that I helped kind of, I feel like in a way I helped build Profit Trailer. I mean, I was their #1 affiliate for like a year, 2 years. But their affiliate program doesn't work anymore. And they changed the way everything works. They put everything on the cloud. I think I could still use it locally, but because of the way the licensing is, I don't know how easy it's going to be for me to go back and get a download. So I'm in their Discord and I'm trying to figure out what options I have. And if it's overcomplicated or I have to jump through a million hoops, I'm just going to say to hell with it. I want to move on. There's really not that. I mean, there's no affiliate program. I can't generate anything outside of like, you know, okay, well, here's some stuff. And, you know, here are all the strategies that I'm working my tail off on. Right. But the same with Gunbot. Gunbot is a lot more difficult to use. I know that they've updated it. They've changed a lot, but trying to configure Gunbot and the way it works is not that easy yet. But at the same time, I spent a lot of time with Profit Trailer back in the day. Gunbot was the very first bot I ever purchased back in like 2017. So I'm going to really do my best and I'm going to try and learn both of them. And if I can do really good content for both bots on a regular basis and teach people how to use either of them to make good money during this bull market, then that's what I'm going to do. So we'll see. I'm going to do my best. All right. Looks like my order was completed on HoudiniSwap. Let me refresh this and make sure it went through. Bingo, bango. There it is. All right. It's successful. I feel good now. Okay. I can rest easy. So I basically just bought another 517 ICP live with you guys on the air. And I used HoudiniSwap to do it, and it did a great job. It takes a few minutes, it does, but this is cool because it enables me. I don't have to worry about, okay, I've got to get this token, and in order to buy this token over here. I hate how it defaults to Solana though. That pisses me off. Every time I see it, I just want to like smack the screen. HoudiniSwap, how about you change that to something a little bit better? But it is what it is. But yeah, every time it defaults to that, I just like kind of want to throw open my mouth a little bit. But it is what it is. But this platform really does work, and you can switch it to private, and there are settings and things. You can use Monero if you want. You can just use the exact mode. It's a cool little platform. Total swap volume is over $566 million at a total of 187,000 transactions. So check this out. I'll actually throw the link right here. Again, they haven't paid me to do this, but I thought, you know what? They did do a paid segment before, and I should use it. I should actually start using it, because I just had a situation where I had to transfer. I had to go send. What did I send? I think it was Ethereum. I don't remember exactly what it was. I had to send it to an exchange first. Then I had to sell the Ethereum into the stable token to be able to buy the ICP that I wanted. And the whole thing took me forever. It took me like 45 minutes. I'm not kidding. It was like a pain in the ass. And I'm like, I wonder how HoudiniSwap would have worked for me. And so I told my bud Greg, I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm going to do a live transfer. I'm going to try this HoudiniSwap myself, like directly, and see how it works. And so I did a little test, and I'm like, oh my God. I mean, it took about 15 minutes, but it's really just waiting. It's not me fiddling around doing a whole bunch of shit, swapping this for that, and basically eating all of the trade fees in the interim, right? Because every time you make a transaction, you're basically losing a little bit of what you started with just to get what you need. So yeah, I think I might start using HoudiniSwap on a more regular basis for easy things. I'm not doing the private business because I just don't need any more bullshit. I don't want to end up like, oh yeah, you're making private transactions, Crow. We don't really like that. Yeah, I just, there's nothing I need to hide. But yeah, I do like this. So let me go ahead and take a look at comments. Oh, you know what? Here, let me know if you guys can hear this, because I think for whatever reason on StreamYard, you can't hear the videos. But I want to play my trailer. I want to show you guys my trailer. Let me see. Was it? Yeah, let me know if you can hear it. So let me know if you just heard that first little second, if you don't mind. This isn't a really long trailer, but I spent 2 days making this, and I want to know if you guys like it. Negative, can't hear it. All right, let me see something. I'm going to try a different setting and then an audio and see if that changes anything. System. Let's try that. Let me see. No, all right, that didn't work either. I know one of these settings works. I just have to figure out which one. Nope, it's not that one either. Virtual output. Nope. Sorry to do that. I didn't even realize there was a test on here. I could have looked earlier. Sonic Virtual no, Real Tech. I doubt that it's it. No. God dang it. This sucks. Sonic Virtual Mixer. Nope. None of these are working. That really stinks. Nope. All right. Well, maybe none of these work. I don't know. I think I tried the system output. No. Well, hell. Well, anyway. Okay. I'll show it on just play it. Yeah, I'll do it when next time I go live on my other platform, because for whatever reason audio just does not work from the web on StreamYard, which it's kind of frustrating. I wish there was an easy fix for that, but yeah, you can go watch it on Twitter as well. I did create a new Wargrim Twitter account for everything, all things Wargrim, because we're trying to grow. If you go to wargrim.io, go join the wait list. Like right now, go join the wait list. You're going to want to. If you're into this game at all, and you're into everything that is coming. Well, you can kind of see the trailer just playing lightly behind me. But yeah, go join the wait list, because I think we're going to be doing a cool giveaway as we get closer to Rare Evo. We're going to be launching a beta, and Crypto Face and I played 2 matches last night all the way through. It played smooth. This is gonna be something. I think we're actually working on trying to get some additional capital, like some investment capital, because we want to transition the whole game. Now that we have everything pretty much ready to go, we want to transition maybe to Unreal Engine or something like that, but it's going to cost more money to do that. Because the one thing that we want to do from here is add to like animations, just make the world, like, make the battleground look alive. And that's really expensive. And like, we've made miracles happen with this game already. But there's a lot more stuff that we want to do visually, and it's not cheap. So and we're also working on like a tokenization model, because it does make sense for this game, especially the way we're doing it. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming for Wargroom. Make sure you join that wait list. It's going to be worth it, I can tell you that, especially as we get closer to August. Let's take a look at chat before I sign off. I've been live 51 minutes. Sure doesn't feel like it. Can you mute your mic, then try, or turn off mic and try? Maybe thinking out loud. I don't think that's it, because it pulls the audio from 2 different channels. I should be able to talk while something else is playing. I don't think that's it. But thanks for the idea, though. Cardonian, well, you are part owner of it. You own ADA. I'm not sure what that was in reference to. It's difficult to talk and then keep up with the comments in real time. Are you building on ADA? Yeah, we're not only that. So we're building everything. So all of the cards in Wargroom are going to be NFTs, and we're building it primarily for Cardano. But we are able to do this to expand the market for the game. We are able to do this multi-chain, and it's not one of those narratives where it's like, oh, you're not doing it all on Cardano because Cardano, it sucks to build on, or like it's not about that. It's in today's day and age, there's no reason to not be multi-chain. You just expand your market, and for a TCG game like this, we could effectively have almost like multiple games going on, but a lot of the data, being shared down the middle. So we could have a whole community playing it on Ethereum. We could have a whole community playing it on Cardano, and it just expands, because I can tell you right now, based off of the numbers, how many people that hold Cardano are TCG gamers. It's not like just because I'm building this on Cardano that the entire Cardano community is going to rally around it. Like, if that were true, I'd already have 100,000 people in the wait list. Like, let's be real, and I'm not being a dick, but let's be real. There are 500 of you watching this right now. A lot of you are here, but because you're in Cardano. How many of you are joining the wait list? Maybe 20 or 30, right? Like, it takes a long time to build these things up. Now, if I were to say we're going to launch on these 5 chains, and each chain is basically going to be like its own game world instance, right? When we're having land battles and all that stuff that I don't even show or talk about in the trailer yet, because I want to get a system for that in place before we talk too much about it. But ultimately, there's no reason to not be multi-chain. And then if we have a bridge to where we can say, okay, people on this chain and that chain can now like swap and trade NFTs, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that we can do. So yeah, it only makes sense in order to broaden your overall market reach. It makes sense to be multi-chain, especially for a game or something as niche as a TCG. But yeah, that's what makes sense to me. Tell us the risk factor of ICP compared to ADA, please. I don't know what you mean, like risk factor. Like I basically look at it like I already have all of the ADA I'm probably ever going to buy. So now I'm exploring other things, you know, between now and 2025. It's like I still want to have a decent sum of other tokens. I want some ICP. I like Ondo. And I'm actually going to be doing more content over the coming weeks where I'm trying to deep dive. I'm making notes and I'm trying to gather a bunch of information because I want to do some really good deep dives into real world asset tokens. You know, where were they when they started? When did they start? What have they done since they started? Where are they going? What partnerships do they have? What do I think the overall value is going to be? And I want to basically start applying my metrics and things to some of these real world asset projects and get a handle on what I think may happen with some of them. Because I do think that there's going to be a big narrative that continues to grow as it relates to real world assets in the crypto market. And I want to be ahead of that if I can. So yeah, like risk factor, it's impossible to say. But I think that ICP is legitimate for sure. They've already gone up, you know, a substantial amount, you know, just looking at current price action. I mean, you know, from 585 on July 4th, it's gone up almost like, I mean, it's insane. This is from its local peak, it's gone up about 78% just this month. Like it's crazy. Oh, I'm not even showing you. Look at that. I mean, that's 78%. This is all that is this area here. This is the 4th of July, folks. So, you know, and all of this is everything stemming from the previous cycle. So it's starting to get its rallies. And yeah, like I still do. I want to launch a website with ICP. I want to launch a website on an ICP canister. And I want to see like how far can I personally take the tech and what all is possible with it. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be one of those things that I start following over the course of this year. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. Hopefully you guys like the video and you share it. Hopefully the video is long enough with a bunch of different things to keep you thinking about the weekend. Make sure you get your Cardano merch. And if you don't know any of the links or whatever, just go to cryptocrow.io. All the links that are important are there too. And until next time, guys, thanks for joining me. Crow your coins, and I'll see you soon. Have a great and safe weekend. See you later.